Hello and welcome back again to the Mars Dota 2 League CIS Qualifiers. Taking a look at our second series of the day where it's going to be Gambit, Esports facing off against Effect. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by the lovely man, Mr. Draskyl. Andy, we got a ghost lady. She's spooky, but she's here.
Yeah, a lot of teams been liking the Death Prophet lately. I definitely am a fan of the hero as well. Good team fight, solid laner, just all around pretty good hero. You can actually put her in more than just mid too. We've actually seen the CIS region especially kind of adapt to that, and wouldn't you know it, a gyrocopter.
I mean, and this is always, I feel like, some of the place that the gyro inhabits, where it's like, he's not amazing at any one thing. I mean, he's great at clearing stacks, but he's not like that hero that you take that's just like aimed at one particular thing, but he's good at everything. And then suddenly he becomes like picked all over the place.
I think it's just because teams find a hero that, like you said, he kind of can do a lot of different things. So one of the best parts about of drafting Dota is like every team's preference. Some people like to pick stuff really early, like cores, and show like what they're going to do, and then try to change it up by, you know, maybe picking a hero later on in the draft that takes the place of the first hero that you saw. So think of like Digital Chaos, for example, when they played a TI. They would pick Avenge, and then later on in the draft, and they would say, oh, well, now our Avenge is just going to be a core instead of a support, and you would never know.
Right.
So that's just like the general ambiguity of a pick. That's kind of what Gyro offers you too, because it doesn't reveal anything. It just tells you that, hey, we have this hero that's pretty good at dealing damage, can team fight, carries farm well. Same thing with the Sand King. The heroes are basically both not telling you what their actual plan is.
5 seconds
and
remaining.
That gives a lot of flexibility. Yeah, the Sand King, Gyro, all about it. Gambit, I guess you can say that to some extent the Death Prophet is a similar thing because we've seen it run in the same lane as well, but much more focused on that mid. And then of course, like what Death Prophet's going to be doing in the game is pretty much the same every time. Push down the towers around the ultimate, and we'll see how Effect try and deal with that. It's also going to be a Bane, so Gambit going to try and shore up their lanes a little bit early on, as well as get some of that nice BKB piercing disable for Mr. Gyrocopter.
Yeah, there's also some important points too to note about like the Gyrocopter and Death Prophet together, is that they both do physical and magic damage. They're not like completely sourced in one place, which is also really important to keep in mind because it makes it harder to itemize against the heroes for that specific reason. But as far as the Bane goes, I really like it against Gyro because you can enfeeble him, and the enfeeble really hurts your flat cannon DPS during team fights. So if you're able to get that spell off in the beginning of a fight, it does wonders. And like you said, the grip is also going to be great for being able to disable later on. That being said, there's a lot of stun right now on the side of Effect. Like you got the Terrorize that can come out, you got the Cursed Crown, Sand King stuns, missiles. So there are a few ways to interrupt that. And we are actually going to see a Nyx Assassin again. So I'm wondering if it's going to just be the 5 Willow and then potentially the 4 position Sand King here.
It feels like it. They're going to do like a dual insect tri-lane going on down in the top lane potentially. Or rather dual lane. What am I talking about? Tri-lane. Which to me feels pretty scary. That's a ton of lockdown with a Burrow Strike and then an Impale. Could put the hurt if there's some squishy heroes down there.
Yeah, I'm wondering how exactly the lanes are going to break down. I mean, most of the time I would actually like to see the Sand King in the lane because I think the hero actually has a stronger laning phase. Like Caustic can be really annoying to deal with for some melee heroes like Juggernaut especially. But it just feels like
5 seconds remaining.
Playing a 5 position like Nyx Assassin or something like that just seems real weird. Because who's going to move around the map, really? I mean, Nyx can skill Mandiver in level 1 and just go mid and like spam it on the Death Prophet, be like annoying or whatever. But I guess we'll have to find out how Effect value the resource allocation here, as they're still looking for one more hero, most likely the mid. Although I guess one thing we haven't considered is that it could be Willow mid too.
Oh god.
I mean, Willow mid actually does a lot of damage. Like, imagine like the support Willows that we've seen so far being able to like solo kill heroes, right? Imagine that like times 3, and that's pretty much what a mid Willow could do. But yeah, again, it's some speculation. It's not 100%.
Okay. I feel like I want to try and play this hero a little bit more in my pubs. I've only played like 1 or 2 games to learn all the spell names and kind of get a feel for it, but haven't really depth to the
10 seconds
delve to the
remaining.
debauchery that is spamming this hero in pubs yet.
She is
5 seconds remaining.
she's really good at picking off people. Her spells are a little bit long cooldown,
Yeah.
but she can like 100 to 0 almost anything. Like it doesn't even matter how much health you have. Like you have less than 3,000 health, you're pretty much gonna die.
Jeez. Well, we'll see if they're able to make that happen. Juggernaut, a good survivable hero against it. Death Prophet, not quite as much so, although you do have like a Yule Scepter to try and dodge away from stuff. But not if you're Cursed Crowned, not if you're Burrow Struck, not if you're Impaled, not if you're Rocketed. There's a lot of stuns on this effect team.
Yeah, they got a good amount of burst. A lot of their damage is of the magical persuasion right now. I would like to see them pick up another core that can start to hit into BKB. I think that's like the primary reason why they pick Jug, is because they see like all this magical damage DPS, and it's just like, okay, if I spin, you have no real threat to kill me in spin, which is like one of the best ways to deal with Jug. Like a lot of the time, these Juggernaut players spin not just as a tool to kill in the early game, but also as a defensive mechanism to not die. But if you just have high fizz DPS, then you're just gonna blow them up during that. And because the spin damage itself doesn't scale without the talent, you're not really gonna kill fast enough before you die. So we'll see. Like Gambit banned out the SF and the TB, so they're kind of expecting that as well.
Yeah. And effect now with the last pick also, we'll at least be able to have a nice counter for whoever it is, and maybe build upon that physical damage elsewhere. We saw Wraith King the other day. That could be kind of cool. It worked very well against the Juggernaut. Might be a little bit too scary with all the kiting mechanisms that they got, and nice disable. But there's a lot of other answers too for what they want to go for. Underlord.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually hate Wraith King, because the Dire team right now, Gambit, they do have some CC, but I'm looking at it in the sense of, you know, how reliably are we going to get a Fiend's Grip off? Is the Elder Titan going to be able to always get that good stomp against this many stuns plus Carapace? That is a huge problem for Elder Titan because he wants to throw a Spirit out, and that thing does damage. So when you hit somebody with a Spirit, you can potentially get stunned yourself, and then you can't get the stomp that you're looking for.
The Tidehunter, it's even more nice thinking about it now, potentially being able to outlast that Ravage. We'll see what effect want to go for, but Tide, I like this. I like this lineup. It looks pretty good. They've solved the problem of like Bane's lack of team fight.
Yeah, they actually do have very good 5-man. Ghost plus Ravage, Elder Titan with the Healing Ward. That is a definitely solid, like all around. It can team fight. The lane should be pretty good. Both of their supports are strong. They can support the lanes. Yeah, it's just a good draft.
Last pick from effect now. They've already got a lot of burst, a lot of stuns. Maybe needing that physical damage like you were talking about, and possibly some siege as well could be good. Lifestealer is a possibility. You know, it's banned out already.
He's banned, yeah.
Wraith King, who else is there?
I would actually say LS would be kind of rough to run this game. I don't like playing Lifestealer into heroes that can just run away from me. Like Jug can run away, Tidehunter's going to crack in your open wounds. You can get gripped, and plus Death Prophet is a hero who often buys like Yules and stuff, so it's really hard to stay on him as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm also going to send you real quickly the Dota 2 hero list, because I always forget to pull it up. I feel like it could be helpful. It's always nice, isn't it?
I'm a fan. I mean, I think that should have just been built into the UI years ago. But...
No, fair enough. Actually, I can't do it.
Okay.
Whoa!
It's the OD.
Interesting.
The Dizzler. Okay, so this is really strong. It's a Hex carrier, which I think is great when you're playing against heroes like Juggernaut, because you want to be able to stop him from spinning. So you have like the potential of a Nyx initiation into Hex late game. It's going to be great. And then you have really good damage and reliable damage against Tide. You obviously can't crack in Astral, so if you crack or if you Astral the Tidehunter during team fights, it's just a guaranteed 4 seconds without a Ravage.
Right.
It's very high damage output prior to people having BKB, which is phenomenal. Like I think OD's not necessarily overlooked in the competitive scene because people definitely know how to play against him. But I think when you can pick him in this like 5th position, it's real good.
Yeah. And I think it's a hero that I always get flamed whenever I say his name. I am going to say Afro Ninja this game. I think technically the way it's pronounced is something along the lines of Aphonia. but I don't have that accent in my mouth. So I'm just gonna call him OD actually, probably. But I've seen him play this a bunch of times, so it should be a good game. I'm excited to see how it goes.
You can actually call him by his in-game name instead of the tag, which is Meow.
Meow.
Yeah, that's his actual like non-pro tag right now. It's just Meow.
Meow. That's a good idea.
I don't know why that's what it is, but that's just what I saw it because when you go in the loading screen, it shows the person's pub tag, not the team tag, which I always thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because if you have like a tournament ticket or whatever, it should just show the correct name. Because this is MDL should have their own ticket, right?
Yeah, I think they're using an older ticket, which is why it says 2017.
You're so nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've got the chat wheel back, depending upon how long these players have been playing these heroes in pubs. How do you feel about the return of the chat wheel nowadays?
I think it's awesome. I think that the idea to bring back the chat wheel in Dota Plus and just have a way to like meme in games. Like people, when they had the battle pass out, they loved that shit. Like that's just like Dota crack, People wanted to spam the chat wheel.
Yeah, and I think that like sometimes the heroes, their lines aren't always as good, but sometimes they can be pretty good. And you need to get like it unlocked. It feels like it's a progression system, which is always fun. I'm digging it. I've just been spamming Underlord and Timbersaw. It's been a great time.
Yeah, that's the one thing too, is I saw a guy who had like the second highest rank already.
Oh god.
And I was like, you must have literally not played any other hero, but this one hero.
Yeah. I'm not sure, does it work in turbo mode games? It might.
I actually have only ever played one game of Turbo.
What'd you think of it?
I played it and I was like, okay, this is a pretty useful tool for people who just want to learn what heroes do.
Yeah.
But it's not really like an accurate representation of how Dota's played. It just teaches you like the ability and hero interactions, and that's it. But that's cool, because you don't have to sit there for like 45 minutes or like an hour-long game or whatever if you just want to do like a quick rundown of what a hero does. You can play for like 20-25 minutes and then get on to the next game, which I think is appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah. I like to do it sometimes too to see how good like a certain type of build is on a hero. So like I played the Ember Spirit physical damage build the other day in a turbo mode game, and we lost in like 12 minutes because the build's not great anymore. But it's fun to like get to experiment like that in ways that might not work, and then the game doesn't happen that long anyways, so you don't lose too much.
Yeah, I think the game I played anti-mage. And I literally killed their whole base at like 11 minutes or 10 minutes into the game. I had like 1600 GPM or something stupid. It was like I didn't even know what was happening. I had like a battle fury at like 4 minutes, and I was like, this is just silly.
Looks like Effect are going to be switching things up a little bit here as well. Switching back over to this game. If they end up with a battle fury, it's going to be crazy. Vanscore, spotted out by Afterlife and the gang, are going to try and come and commit for this rune, while simultaneously securing another one of their own. A bigger thing, though, is ward place down. This lane...
I think that's like a common D ward, to be honest. Like, they poised up there, aggressive positioning. Vanscore's holding onto his sentry for the moment. I don't know if he noticed it or not.
The battle begins.
And looks like the battle's going to be over here to the side. They still picked up that bounty room. And going to be dealing a nice little bunch of damage to King Art here. Minus armor, and well, he is going to be able to walk away now. A little bit of that movement speed further away from him. Look at Afterlife.
It's a pretty cool pull tactic. It's not going to work against Bane, though.
Oh, no. Yeah, he still has the Shadow Realm, but he's just going for a walk. Oh, God.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh, no. And he wants to commit for this, but Vanscore, if he has this other Nightmare, Afterlife might just be dead.
Yeah, he's dead, I think. One more hit.
Shadow Realm TP. I was close, but he doesn't have a salve.
Yeah, he has to go back to base. That is very, very, very painful because, and this is something too that makes Bane such a great support is it is not possible to pull against him if he's paying attention. Because the Nightmare just de-aggroes the creeps, and they just casually walk by, so any of the work that he wanted to try to do there, and all the regen he burned, the TP scroll and everything, it just doesn't do much.
And the freest lane that this Juggernaut has ever had in his entire life, as he is going to be able to, well, he's actually going to push here with the double wave, gets the aggro off, and Dark Willow's still stuck with no experience. Afterlife is going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, it's interesting he actually decided to let the lane push out a bit. I guess he's got more of the control back now on the Jug, so it's this is a sad Dark Willow.
I guess the only sort of silver lining here is that Vanscore doesn't have any more mana after using 2 of those Nightmares. But nonetheless, Bane is just a pretty bulky person in terms of being able to, you know, punch away at Dark Willow anyways.
He should definitely try to go for another pull. Like, by the time he does, Vanscore may have mana for a 3rd Nightmare, but in this type of situation, you got to try to get EXP somehow. I mean, right now, I guess his play is just sit in the trees and soak.
Oh, first blood on the Tidehunter. King R able to run him down. So, while things are going rough up in top, that do take down the Tidehunter, but he's still got level 2. And Afterlife now going to get spun on. Doesn't have that movement speed advantage you would want. In fact, 5 below the Jug, but does manage to escape. And we'll give one little, hey, how you doing on his way out.
Well, hopefully he can get level 2 soonish. I mean, this is one of the big reasons why the Bounty Rune nerf hurts like the offlane and the floor position so much, is you don't get that EXP boost. Yeah. Like, a lot of people didn't think it was that big, but honestly, sometimes it gives you enough to get to the next level, and that's enough to be able to sit in the lane and sustain yourself, so.
Stack here, Madden. Team effect, and still Cheshire Cat able to have a nice little time for himself in spite of the OD just beating away into him.
This is a completely unwinnable lane for Tide. Like, the higher level the OD gets, the worse it's going to be for Cheshire Cat. So, like, at low level, he's trying to make use of the low levels into Essence Aura, and that's going to make the OD able to sustain Arcane Orb, and once that happens, you just can't stay here anymore. You're just going to get beat down.
Cheshire Cat just going to commit the gush for that one, and well, mid lane they're able to find another stun here onto the DP, draining away all that mana. And so far, it does look like, well, I guess, do you feel like the Juggernaut just completely dominating his lane makes up for the fact that DP's having a tough time?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we saw Daxic have a kind of a rough go of it in the mid lane the other day. Their team ended up losing the match, but he ended the game 10-0,
right? Even
with the bad lane. So if there's one thing I know about this guy is that he can definitely play Death Prophet, even if he's not, you know, crushing it in his early laning phase.
Okay. Throw a strike there onto the Tidehunter. Cheshire Cat again going to be bullied around here, and he's going to have to run off back to lane, try and soak up what he can, because there's a creep wave pushing in. So we'll see if he can stay alive, as they might think about diving him here. The creep is going to dive quickly.
I don't think they can dive him without boots. Like, the OD doesn't have boots, so if they were to trying to dive him, it would be very difficult.
Okay. Willow going to get level 3 off of this camp, most likely. I will try and deny some of these creeps, but you'll get full experience unless it's an actual deny by the supports, which doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, that is actually one nice thing. Vanscore prioritizing dropping the vision over getting the denies, so Afterlife gets itself a little bit of bonus EXP. But yeah, the laning phase looking like it's favoring Gambit, like very slightly, not really even much to warrant talking about.
They're going to move in now, and with the Nightmare into the sleep coming from Bignum, this could be a big pickup, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make anything of it. As back out, it's a good trade away from that sleep, and LTW ends up living.
And for now, it just seems to be pretty quiet. Not really a whole lot of kill potential on these lanes. Because it's a dual lane mid, like normally you would want to try to rotate and kill the gyro, but the Nyx has just been sitting here the entire time. So even with the Nightmare, even with the sleep, and the damage from the Death Prophet, it's going to be very difficult to get that kill.
They do have another sleep here. Getting back onto Nick's stats. Still starting to take some damage. They're wrapping around with Sand King as well. They hit the Impale onto the Death Prophet, who's starting to fall, and stunned from the low ground. It connects, and Death Prophet dies. The rotation in from the Dark Willow, trying to make a little bit up for what happened earlier. And Vanscore going to die to Afterlife. A double kill for the Dark Willow.
Really nice collapse there, coming in from effects. Just realizing that they were sitting on the high ground for a little bit too long, like trying to go for the kill and just kind of sitting their supports where, you know, Effect obviously knew that they were going to be there. So it's just kind of overstaying your welcome, I guess, and going for a pretty low probability kill, I would say. Like, even going on Nyx, who is probably the easier to kill of the two, they still couldn't even take him down with 3 heroes.
Showing the strength, too, those stuns, just how impactful it can be. The Cheshire Cat going to take some more damage here. Do have level 7 on the OD. Obviously not taking 8 points in ulti yet, but they do need to be a little bit careful as the wraparound is coming from the Sand King. King R looking for that initiation, and with that, it will blow him up.
Yeah, this is the stage where the OD just becomes way too much to deal with in the lane for a melee offlaner.
Sleep onto Dark Willow. They have the spin for him, Shadow Realm, but hard to make this work. Stomp's going to come out, and they are going to bring down Afterlife. So good gank comes out, and Juggernaut's still just dominating the charts right now.
Yeah, I'm amazed that he's actually managed to stay ahead of the OD. I mean, granted, Afterlife had a super bad start. If you compare them now, like, sure, Cheshire Cat's got a bit more EXP, but Afterlife got that nice double kill. He got a rotation going towards mid lane, so they're kind of equalizing a bit. I think the Tide will probably still maintain like a higher level of CS just because he has the ability to jungle, but he'll be dying again. Maybe not there.
Maybe you're going to be able to find something on the King R here. There's also a Nightmare on the other side for the OD. King R has a Burrow Strike back up with those stick charges, trying to run, trying to get away, and it looks like the OD will protect his buddy. So they keep Tide alive.
Yeah, you can't mess with this guy right now. He's just he's a little bit too much. You got to bring a lot of heroes, maybe even wait for the Death Prophet to decide if she wants to use ult on mid or bottom. I'm not sure what lane you push first, honestly, without the Tide being 6. Probably wait for Cheshire Cat to get his ult. He obviously is close to the Soul Ring too, so that'll help him out in regards to getting some farm. Yeah, I think Gambit's plan right now is just wait out the level 6s on those 2 heroes, and then try to make use of your first Exorcism.
And I guess that it's sort of wherever you're able to find a kill would be good. Like, ideally OD, but that's not an easy kill to get with the Exorcism either. I guess maybe if they're able to, like, get initiation with Vanscore or something. And there isn't, like, the best vision around this area.
I mean, it's pretty... In the early game, it's pretty hard for Gambit to, like, be the initiators, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is one of those lineups where your initiation is knocking on a tower and saying, come defend your tower. That's kind of how these types of lineups work. Now, they're tricky because if you ever get behind with a lineup like this, starting a team fight becomes very difficult. You know, we've seen in the past, like, the rock, paper, scissors of Dota, which is like split push beats team fight, and that's normally because the team fight lineup doesn't have a good enough initiation to start a fight when they want to. They have to, you know, do it in a very specific way. So in this type of game, they kind of suffer from that a bit. Obviously, they're not suffering from it just yet, but it will become a factor if they're not able to utilize their team fight potential and push some early towers.
Well, we're seeing also the Afterlife build going for more points in Bramble Maze, so it looks like they want to try and set up to be able to defend against those pushes, the long duration route. Also, a little bit of extra damage being dealt out. Kind of cool. And the cooldown reduction, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely the skill to level, I think, if you're in the offlane and you're not able to really contest. Okay. Normally, you would just see, like, the Shadow Realm if you have an easy lane. But in this case, I think that the choice to go Bramble Maze is definitely the right one here.
Dire are scanning.
Wraparound coming. The Nyx Assassin and the Sand King in the area. Cheshire Cat don't have vision of him, but they see him. So he is going to head back this direction. Kind of tough to find that kill on the Tidehunter. Now he pops the Shrine, and they're thinking about going in the Daxic, but he's just going to back out. Smoke
is under attack.
This is a tough one. TP rotations? You have the Bane with the TP available. They're going to burrow strike in. Bane's going to come in immediately. Impale is there as well, but it's not going to come in time. Well, maybe it does. He gets the stick charges off. The Spirit Siphon as well. It's actually working. Omni Slash to turn it, and they save his life. And the skin of his teeth.
I can't believe he lived. Good God, that was like that was only level 2 Spirit Siphon. I mean, obviously Vanscore's Nightmare was on point. Like that is what absolutely needed to happen for him to live through it. But he didn't have raindrops.
Yeah.
It was a level 2 Spirit Siphon and he lives.
And now Vanscore again making the plays that they need. From the very beginning, this has been just a struggle trying to deal with the Bane's effectiveness. And they take down another, so 3 go down mid.
Man, that was an incredibly good reaction there from Gambit. That was impressive, actually. Like the speed in which they reacted, how each player like individually knew exactly what they needed to do to keep that hero alive, and whew, that's the kind of stuff I like to see. You know, that's why we play Dota.
Yeah, very, very impressive. And well, now Gyrocopter gonna try and farm up a little bit more. If there's a silver, I guess no, he died also in that engagement, so. A little bit frustrating for ILTW as he's going to go clear out these stacks. Well, bottom lane, they're going to Ravage for this one. OD just dead. They just walked at him.
I mean, it doesn't have a lane ward. You can see the sentry that was dropped on like the common like dewarding spot, and there was probably some communication as, yeah, I don't think this guy has a ward. Let's just go to his lane and kill him. Now the real question is how much damage can they chip away at this tower, because the exorcism is already more than half over. And it looks like Effect want to try to do something in response.
They do have a glyph as well, and the stun is there, trying to take down this Elder Titan. Looks like they will end up losing him, but I mean, that's kind of okay. I guess the use of the exorcism may be a little bit too much there.
Well, I think the first exorcism doesn't necessarily need to kill a tower. If he kills a core, I think that's good enough. It starts to become like when you're level 12, you know, past that, when you really, really want that ability to get something more than just like one hero. Okay. So they have a little bit of time. They don't have to necessarily worry about like getting pushed and like the game ending like in the next 5 minutes, or I guess more to say like in the next 145 seconds, which I believe is the exorcism cooldown. So
right.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like getting the kill on the OD is good enough.
The OD did spot that rotation over from these heroes with his ward, and now need to play it a little bit safer here. Has a Force Staff done as well, and they're trying to stalk right now onto this Juggernaut, but they have all their heroes in the area. Effect, the King R is here as well. They're going to try and go for the stun, but the spin TP away is going to keep him alive. And now Mignum may be able to actually turn this back around. Is he going to kill off the next one? Taking a lot of damage from Madden, and the punch is going to be there. Not a second one, though. Meanwhile, Bane trying to live against King R.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, he is going to, for now. Another brain sap.
Oh, the jukes. Get in there. That was nice.
Radiant structures
The
are
okey doke.
fortified.
I like that one. Requesting a new pair of ankles for King R.
Dire's top tower is under
They're
attack.
scanning. They even scan back there. Oh.
Yeah, that was slick. I like that a lot. The unfortunate part was Effect had a really good opportunity to kill the Jug there, and he biffed the stun on the Nyx. So that would have probably... Actually, Vanscore was there. Maybe he gets Nightmared anyway. I'm not sure. It would have been close.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a chance that they could have killed the Jug.
Well, they are going to try and rotate again. The Terrorize, pump faking it, thinking about going with the first round. It's going to be a long duration stun, and now the follow-up, though, the Stomp is there as well, and they might have gone too far. Ravage comes out, connects on a 3. The follow-up, Omni is out, but they're not able to focus down and take down the Dark Willow yet. She does die to the spin. King R finds the secondary stun, but it is not going to be enough. Gambit takes the tower and more.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Man, that is some nasty team fight. I mean, Effect are very brave for trying to fight into Gambit with all those ultimate stuff. I suppose it didn't have vision of the fog, right?
Yeah.
So the Tidehunter's just sitting over there. Very nicely timed Ravage from Cheshire Cat. It hits like through the tree line, more or less.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice positioning there from him, just being able to equalize the fight for his team. And what was that, 3 or 4 kills?
I think it was 3.
Yeah, 3 in a tower, right? So yeah, that's the kind of ult usage we're looking for. That is some real good value.
So I like this Juggernaut's build too.
Radiant's
Like sometimes
bottom
you just see the
tower is
phase
under
immediately
attack.
into the Battle Fury, but taking that Yasha so he can be active early, really cool.
Gold for me.
I actually quite prefer this build nowadays on Jug over just like the straight up Battle Fury. I mean, if you have a completely empty lane, it's fine to go Battle Fury first. But what I find oftentimes is that if you don't have the Yasha, it's really hard to get in, as King R eats every ability in the game.
Under attack.
Now they need to be careful. They
Radiant's
still have spin
middle
TP
tower
on
is
Jug,
under
but
attack.
they're moving in for this one. And in the area, they start with the Impale. It's a nice way to make it go. Can they take him down in time? Looking like maybe not. That physical damage, it's not quite there, although they're still chasing off to the side and TP away. It was never going to be enough. The rest of Gambit now needing to run. And looks like with the Jug dead, they might be able to get Van score as well. Yeah, the Curse Crown's there, and no way out for him.
It was a bit of a misplay from Vanscore. He was kind of too far away from the Jug. And in addition to that, he nightmared the wrong target. In that situation, you always nightmare the Gyro. I mean, there's a chance that one of his teammates could have taken it off, but it still gives you a better chance to get the Jug out. Because the Nyx had already used all the spells, right? Like his Impale still has a 14-second cooldown. It wasn't even up by the time that the Jug tried to TP away. He enfeebled the Gyro, but unfortunately Rocket Barrage doesn't really care about enfeeble.
Well, this looming threat of an OD is becoming more and more real as he's got a Blink Dagger on top of a Force Staff. How scared are you right now if you're Gambit of that OD?
I mean, right now he doesn't have he doesn't really have a big enough mana pool to sustain. Actually, he's gonna go boom, holy crap. Yeah, so he's got the mobility portion down, which is good, but he needs to finish up the pike. He'll probably need a BKB this game, and then he's gonna want a Hex. So it's going to be a little while before I'm really like scared of this OD, because we got Silence, we got Fiend Script, there's Ravage, and things like Omni. So if he Astrals and it's not a good Astral, it could very quickly turn into a bad situation for him.
Yeah, and we see
Man,
that
he is
now.
so unlucky. Are you watching this right
Yeah,
now?
it's crazy. He's
He's
like
literally
none
not
of
gotten like a single Arc or Essence Orb proc in like 10 hits. It's awful to watch. It hurts my feelings.
them. Oh, he's got a clarity going now. He'll get it eventually, I'm sure. He's saving them all up. But a four-man smoke rather, while bottom lane, Nyx is scouting it all out. Needs to be careful. He's within sentry range now. They realize he's over in the area. Stomp, it's going to be there to connect if they need it. And no way out for him. Now the question is, can they get out with these heroes before the looming threat of effect come at them? And moving forward for this, Actic, he's going to get Burrow struck and throwing out the Terrorize as well. It does connect onto one, but yeah, this is a huge problem. They need to get the hell out of there. And there's the spin TP away for the Jug.
Yeah, good reaction from the Jug. Nice couple of kills coming in there from effect. I really like the way that they use like the initiation with the Terrorize and the Blink Sand King combo, and just pretty much make it so you can't do anything. Like, you get Terrorized right into a Bramble Maze, and then there's a Cursed Crown as well on top of that's going to stun you for another like 3.5 seconds. Man, they're going to make Ice Frog nerf this hero by how well people play it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And nobody will be sad, I don't think. There might be a couple of spammers, but, you know, it happens. OD now, just farming away the jungle. The Juggernaut has been able to fit off that Battle Fury, so he is going to be continuing to accelerate his farm. Well, maybe another group up here for effect. There's a ward down. It's on the high ground, which they see now.
They're not killing us.
It's also
And the interesting thing about this game is like there will be a point where Gambit just have like unrivaled team fight because of the Ravage, the Death Prophet ultimate, who's gonna also have a BKB relatively soon. And with all their spells up, they're looking to go.
yeah. And go into the pit. Apparently the call is going to try and ensure it with the Tidehunter in the area. And the immediate ping out from Gyrocopter, maybe they end up seeing something in there. The Bramble Maze, it's on to everybody. Need to be careful. There's still the Tidehunter Ravage in the area. They're starting to bring this down low, and now the Bash is going to be there. They pick up the Roche, and now looking for the fight. Burrow Strike it through onto two. Terrorize as well. It's on to all four of them. It's going to be tremendous. They're all starting to fall, but the Ravage eventually does come out. It's not enough to turn it, though. That Terrorize is dismantling Gambit, although they can't run up to high ground yet. Gotta be careful. Aegis is popped as well, now trying to run. Bramble Maze is down, and it does look like Juggernaut's gonna get out of there. My god, though, that Terrorize.
I mean, the Terrorize and the Ravage of an Impale Stun, I mean, they might lose Bignum here, too.
They're gonna lose it. Oh.
Jesus, man. I gotta say, that Nick stun more than made up for the one earlier where he missed on the Juggernaut. That was wild. I can't believe they're even able to try to take that team fight. Would have been even better if the OD was close enough to get some autos off.
I guess that's something that you can talk about is like that you won that team fight with just about the perfect initiation. But even still, it wasn't easy. Oh, good Nightmare, though. Keeping that DP alive. Not for long enough, though. And the Astro is going to be there. Bignum trying to find the stomp. They spread out. It still hits onto 2, but it did not hit that OD, who is going to run down Bignum. Dead again, and he's blinking forward. Triple kill for the OD.
He has 84 stolen ends. He wants to find another hero because his Sanity's Clips is going to do like 1,000 damage.
He's looking. Come at me. He's ready. And they do spot the Jug, I think. They have vision there. I mean, they're going to go for it. Oh, God. Jug's on the low ground burrow. They got him caught. The Sanities, they don't even need they're going to use it.
God.
Dismantle.
The hammer. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Man, this game got out of hand real fast. It went from like some Roshan kill from Gambit getting turned on them really fast with a couple of nice spell usages by the Willow and the Nyx, and then they try to TP in like 1 by 1 to defend a tier 1 tower. They lose pretty much everyone. This OD's got like a stupid amount of stolen ins because of how many fights have happened in like this quick succession. They were fighting for so long, his ult freaking came off cooldown basically.
Bird in the area, pop spike Carapace, so they're trying to see if they can catch somebody, but it's all down bottom where Gambit are. And I mean, they need all their ultis to be off cooldown before they can fight, but I'm starting to feel like that might not even be possible. Like, this OD is becoming a very serious problem, and he's actually going to forego the BKB, and he's going to go and link it.
Dire's top tower is
I think that BKB is still like... He's feeling confident. That's pretty much what the Lincoln says.
Okay.
He's confident in his ability to either not get hit by Ravage or just avoid the stuff that's going to be dangerous to him, and that's fine. If the player feels like they can avoid it, then that's totally like it's a preference. But the safe play is definitely BKB.
Heads up recognition here by Madden. He saw that the Juggernaut ran away for a second, and I think he realizes that there's a Sentry Ward in the area. So both teams, I think, understanding that this Nyx Assassin is here, and King R maybe going to be looking for an opening. It's a wraparound on the other side, though. Cheshire Cat wants to find a Ravage. They're spotting him, though. They have vision of this Tidehunter with the Sentry Ward placed down. He's going to try and force staff maybe to the side. Still a blink away there from King R. Looking for the Ravage. Can they find it on a good target? OD still there as well. They've got a good burrow strike set up. The supports, they're separated from the rest of the team. Toxic, he does get the silence out. It's pretty nice. Sleep is there as well. Now trying to find the stun. The Ravage connects onto 2. Pretty good. And they're almost bring down the OD. He might be able to get away from this one. It's so tough, though, as the Terrorize comes out last second. 4 step away, but he does go down. Now the call down is just to try and attempt to get away at this point. Gambit making it work. They find the Nyx Assassin. Just going to Omni Slash him. And a big turn there for them.
Yeah, that example right there is why the BKB is a safer play than getting Lincolns. If you can just BKB and sit there and hit people, you're going to be a much bigger threat on an OD than if you have a Lincolns. If they had any other offlaner than a Tidehunter, I would say that the Lincoln's choice would probably be A-OK.
Right.
But in this specific game, because of the Tide, like that's what necessitates the BKB purchase so much. Is mid, some clowny stuff going on here.
They're going crazy. And Fanscore just going to grip him under the tower. Dark Willow in trouble, and now they also have eyes on the Sand King. We talked about confidence, but be going a little bit further than that as they're chasing down King R and going to be able to most likely kill him off. One more punch. Fanscore gets it.
Yeah, that was a very interesting series of events. Fanscore has been pretty good with his Nightmare usage this game, though, defensively and offensively both. And yeah, the OD doubles back on his choice. He goes for the... That's the right call, my friend. That is the correct item.
Affirmative.
He got hit by that Ravage and goes, I'm not buying a Lincolns. This is dumb. I'm buying a BKB.
I like the call there from the Elder Titan as well. Now shall the battle turn. They're feeling like they've turned the corner. Unfortunately, the Jug is being scouted here, and they're going to be able to get the Courier. So that is the Blink Dagger, the TP away. Nyx gets it.
Like that play. Always good to get the vision down and get a Courier.
Oh, yeah.
I guess those wards were actually placed a little bit earlier, so he was more or less just there scouting around, maybe looking for another ward that they had placed, but he wouldn't be able to get vision of the high ground with it, even with the gems. So he needs like the. I guess he can use the Sand King or anyone with a Force Staff or the Courier to do ward.
Well, tier 2 is down mid-top and one remaining bottom from side of Effect taking those towers down. Meanwhile, there's still a tier 1 in the top lane. That's Effect's tower. But looking to maybe, I don't want to say close it out, but with the BKB, are they trying to keep the pressure on or wait for next Roche?
I think with the BKB on the OD, that's like one of the big stepping stones to just the game getting a little bit out of control for Gambit, because the next item in the progression is probably going to be a Hex.
Yeah.
And once that happens, the OD can initiate by himself and just kill someone, and that's really, really problematic.
Magnum being followed here. They're saving the stun. They'll throw it out now. Get the kill. So all the heroes TP back for that one. The lanes are fairly well pushed out, although Jug is going to push top now. And we'll see where they decide to go with this next. They have that BKB on Gyro too. We're talking about.
Yeah, this is a really good power spike for Effect. 2 10-second BKBs. Roshan's gonna. Well, we'll get to see his respawn timer in about 40 seconds, but that'll probably be the next main point of contention. Afterlife's gonna spot out the Jug here in the woods. He's almost got his Manta, which will help a lot because the Curse Crown combination and stuff like that, being able to get out of the brambles is really nice. Good awareness from the Jug.
I'll take your tribute.
Very easily could have been a kill right there with everybody rotating.
Radiant are
With that,
scanning.
Dire are going to move again, try and avoid the fight until they can get in a position to fight. And Cheshire Cat's getting closer to his Blink Dagger, which can make a world of difference as well. Anything else from the Dire team that looks very significant? You said Manta for the Jug. What's there?
Death Prophet has her 10-second BKB as well, and the Plate Mail. The casual Plate Mail actually matters quite a bit in games like this.
Still not near that Spirit Vessel, but I guess there's not a ton of things that need to be worried about as far as like regen is concerned. But we do have down bottom Cheshire Cat keeping this push on. He is 50 gold away from his blink, and the Roche battle should commence in about 45 seconds. And now the Jug also picks back up his Blink Dagger, which is on the Courier that had died.
Ooh, Cheshire Cat.
Uh-oh. He's feared. Running away. It's not going to happen. But he did get his Blink Dagger.
That is a very, very dead Tidehunter. I like his itemization in this game, but yeah, he's definitely not had like the easiest lane, because the OD is probably one of the worst matchups he could get besides like Razor.
So Roshan gonna respawn in 4. Doesn't look like they're gonna stick around and check for it though. A little bit unlucky for Effect as they're going to head up top, and most likely we're gonna see a Jug spin TP away again in a second. And there it is.
They're so nice.
And now Courier goes back through, is gonna spot Roche, and they might head that direction. Do Gambit have any inkling that this is going on?
Well, the Gyro's actually not at the pit, and he's pretty much the only hero who hits Roshan like for any damage. You can't use OD Orb against Roshan, so.
God, do you remember when that was a thing?
I don't want to talk about it. It was not a good time. I don't want any more OD Omni pub metas, please.
Yeah. Smoke broken. Up on the high ground, he has the blink. If he wants to go, it's going to be a bit scary. They have the stomp as well. They're looking. Jump rabbit. They get the BKBs for both of them. Great reaction there. And then the terrorize on to 2. Omni is out on all these heroes, though. It's a lot of damage, but is it enough? I don't think so. They've lost both the Bane and the Tidehunter. are not going to get that hit there, as they maybe are going to be able to find the Dark Willow. She does die, but the rest of the Radiant is wrapping around, and they are trying to get it now. Epicenter onto 2. This is a huge amount of damage. Out of time, out of luck. And Gambit going to be out of lives as they are being chased down and eliminated.
That was, like, I can't believe they both BKB'd it. Like, they did have a ward there, so they saw the Tidehunter walking up the hill because of the high ground ward on the, like, the right-hand side of the jungle by the camp. But yeah, that was really unfortunate for Cheshire Cat.
Dire's middle tower.
And now the chase, they're just going to force the Astro go for the second round here in a second. Vanscore is dead. This is going to be a dead EP. I don't know. Everybody's dead for so long, and they don't have buybacks really at all.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough.
Dire's middle tower.
It's gonna be 1 center racks. They can't really. I don't think they're gonna get more than 1. That's gonna take a bit. Actually, they don't have Ravage. They stick around. Okay, BKBs are back up.
Dire's middle
Yeah, they
barracks
might
are
go
under
for 2.
attack.
I mean, I'm thinking about this, and
Dire's
like,
middle barracks has
to
fallen.
me,
Dire's
it
middle
felt like for
barracks
Gambit,
has
it was
fallen.
saying, all right, we're going to bet that our Tidehunter can hit like 3 buttons before your other 2 heroes can hit 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, the vision is the only reason why those BKBs are so likely to get used before the Ravage hits.
I guess, yeah.
Because they see it coming from so far away.
Yeah.
And then it's, you know, it's one of those things where people say, okay, if your reaction time is great, sure, you can BKB it anyway, but if you just know it's coming, then it's real easy.
Well, there's a Hex on OD, and it is a Butterfly on Gyro, and God, they need to make something happen. They have Ravage back up in 15 seconds, but I'm not sure if it's going to be quick enough, and they're just going to jump forward. They find the Hex. They're able to force that to the low ground, but it's still dead. And right now, the Terrorize is out as well. Onto the Jug. He doesn't have anywhere left to go. He is dead. Looking for more now, chasing down this Death Prophet. They're able to catch there as well. And this is going to be most likely a dead DP. Trying to stay alive. Not happening. I mean, they had Ravage there, but you can't find it. They just don't have the damage.
Yeah, they're not even going to go back to Roche. I think they're just going to go ahead and just take this set of racks. I mean, there's a tier 2 bottom, so they can't get Megan.
The Spike Carapace and GG called. That was destruction.
My God. That escalated quickly, as they say. 1 team fight, 1 bad Ravage, and just boom, game is done. That safe lane OD did absolute work this game. I thought the Tidehunter was a really nice pick, but I believe Effect had the overall last pick, right? They picked OD into the Tide. I guess we can just check the score screen. It'll tell us.
Does it tell us?
Yeah, if you scroll to the right of building damage and healing, it'll say pick.
Oh, okay.
And
the 12th pick was the Dark Willow? What?
Wait, that doesn't seem right.
No,
Isn't that, like 3rd pick?
Maybe it's based upon when you like clicked on the heroes.
Well, I think that they picked it. I think they picked the OD in response, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
But either way, the lane is super favorable for the OD. There was not really any sort of rotation coming out from Gambit that was going to be able to stop him.
Right.
So we just had like a completely uncontested game. Like that's pretty much what it boils down to. No one did anything to stop the OD like at all at any point. And even though Afterlife really struggled in the first like couple of minutes of his laning phase, he still managed to make the game work for him by getting some nice TP rotations, got a handful of kills, and King R gets his blink timing down. And their synergy and like coordination during fights was very good. Like they knew exactly what they wanted to kill. They got their initiations perfect every single time, and they just stun locked the cores. Like the Jug couldn't even cast spin a lot of the time when he was dying.
Yeah, definitely. And part of it too, like how many times did we see like the Terrorize where he's just like running and then OD's hitting away at him there? You pick this hero for like his survivability with that spin, and if it doesn't come out, he's paper, particularly against an OD. Well, that's gonna do it for game number 1. Andy, we'll see what happens in the next one, but Effect taking a 1-game lead in this, and Gambit Esports trying to find an answer. We'll be back in a few for game number 2. Stick around, everybody. More from the MDL CIS qualifiers right after this.